What's up, everybody? This is Dial In with Fuzzy and Kap. The trademark is not in yet, so it's not too late to incorporate Dial In with Fuzzy, Kap, and Baker. We need people to vote, even if it's a small village in Nicaragua. That's fine. We'll put the names in the hat. We'll withdraw them.
They don't back me there. This is a ruse already.
But we love that we are back again. We appreciate all the love that we've been getting on YouTube. This episode, it is only me and Baker. I think this week we gave Baker his little showcase to really show to you guys what he brings to the podcast. Fuzzy had to use a sick day. We wish him the best. This week or this episode, we went over our verses, top stories on week 7. Big trades happened, or a big trade happened. The good old people out in Santa Clara seemed like they had a roller coaster this week. Cheese and wine.
Is it cheese and wine, or is it cheese and whiners? The
whiners for the Niners. We don't know yet.
So, but we're hoping that they can get it back together and kind of relax a little bit. We'll see what the weeks.
We'll see what happens out there for them. Our plan is to go twice a week. We've been covering this recently. Some things happened last week, so this week is going to be our first week doing 2 episodes. It's going to be Wednesdays, right? Wednesdays and Saturdays. Wednesdays, the first episode of the week is going to be a recap of the previous week. The second episode is going to be the preview of the current week. We will be assholes. We will have fun. And we will give you guys what we feel is a proper, fun outlook on football. Now, saying that, we are on Spotify, Fuzzy and Kap, Dial In, or it's Dial In, Fuzzy and Kap on Spotify. Same thing on YouTube, Dial In with Fuzzy and Kap. If you guys can get on there, show us some love. Any like, any share, any follow, any sub really motivates us to feel like we're actually doing something positive and good for the podcast. We're young. It's a young channel that we're really trying to put a lot of our time into, not just our spare time, just all of our time. We're really trying to get dialed in, boys, and give the best product that we can for our listeners. We're also on Twitter. It's our tag is official dial in. Baker's on Twitter at Baker Mahomes. We got Fuzzy Bear. The A is a 4, and me, capitalize with a K, not a C. Don't ask me why. It doesn't matter. We appreciate you guys stopping by. This is week 8, and I feel like we're killing it. We love all the support. We appreciate everyone listening. And like I always say, let's fucking dial in, boys.
Absolutely. Let's everybody let us know how we're doing. Let us know what you want, and we'll keep making it that way. But right now, have a good time with the rest of the episode.
We appreciate you guys. You guys have a good one. So,
what is going on?
So, week 7. I feel like there's a lot of games that were close. We all could have made a lot of money in Vegas. There's a couple games that we kind of missed, but man, were they close or not close? They were upset like no other. And I think the whole country lost.
You're accidentally picking winners, huh? Didn't see that one coming.
Right. Man, I maybe almost could have got 12 right. Like the games that were the givens were the games that we lost on. And on that note,
yeah.
Go ahead, brother.
I said, yeah, Tampa, basically all the ones that we really went together with, Tampa and the Patriots, were not good. Not good at all.
Patriots, man. And remember, I was saying, I'm going to pick the fucking Bears until they win. And my ass was like, I'll go with the Patriots. I'm an idiot. Or the Bears. I was saying, I'm going to go with the Bears. I'm going to go with the Bears. I was out barbecuing. I was checking the score once in a while. And I was like, this motherfucker. I should have just kept the motherfucking Bears.
You should have stayed with the contrarian pick that you were going for. That would have been the way to do it.
Yeah. And then so the Patriots game, I feel like it was a lock. But the Bucks game, the Packers game, but I guess we know somebody that knows something because somebody got that one right. So we will run through the verses for week 7. This is a segment where all three of us go through the whole week, pick the matchups of who we think the winners are going to be. We go head to head. It's pretty fun. I don't have the total. I wish I did, but that's fine. I believe me and Fuzzy were tied. So now we go. Did he take the lead last week?
Fuzzy's got 9.
No, total.
Oh, I don't know.
Throughout the whole season. So I think he finally caught up. I could be wrong, but I think we finally tied to total. So this was like a brand new week, and then we got you in it. But we will go week 7, starting with the game 1. It was Saints versus the Cardinals. I thought the Saints were going to be able to run the ball pretty good. I was pretty excited that I'm picking the Saints. You and Fuzzy thought otherwise. You guys both picked the Cardinals.
I was caught up in that whole Hopkins is coming back, going to make a difference thing.
And man, every time that boy had one-on-one, he was open.
Oh, I love the coming in with a little bit of the elbow, splitting the coach and Kyler up, or just go ahead and do everything. He is kind of the spark plug for that team. So I'm not saying he's out there on defense. He's the one picking off passes and running them back for touchdowns. But he kind of got everybody to have their swagger back, and now there's a big dog back in the locker room.
Yeah.
And it seems like he's that guy.
I think he has the third most all-pro selections since, what was it, 2010? And
I like that.
Julio, Calvin. Who's the other third? There's another one. Antonio Brown and Hopkins. So
Antonio Brown out here trolling Brady again with another post this week. It's been fantastic. It's been a fun ride to watch. Can't believe it.
I fucking love it. I mean, hey, we all have our own story off camera, so I'm all for it. And then we had the game 2. It was Falcons at Bengals. We all said Bengals, even though the Falcons have they got heart in them somehow, some way. They're winning games, I should say.
They've been playing football. You know, they haven't been just passing the ball around the field. They've been coming out there, grinding it out, making a good game of things. But that Joey Burrow swag is really hard to choose against. Tell you what.
That boy got a grill. Did you see that?
No, I did not. I did not see that this guy had a grill.
That boy went out and got a grill.
He's been hanging out with Jamar, man.
Man, that's what the South does to people. I mean, I'm going to start calling this boy Paul Wall. You know what I'm saying? But we all knew, or we all thought Bengals were going to take that dub. It was 35-17. Pretty comfortable win for them. Game 3 was Lions at Cowboys. I was feeling a little excited because Dak came back, of course. Dak averages 300 yards against these guys. He has 8 touchdowns in the past 3 games against them. I'm thinking, okay, yeah, he might be rusty, but I mean, that defense in Detroit is fucking awful. So we all picked the Cowboys.
Bottom of the barrel.
Right. And probably, so I would say they're worse than the 2020 defense in Dallas because that was hideous. They were one of the worst defenses in the past 10 years. And Detroit is shitting on them.
One of the things that I was saying is everyone watched Hard Knocks and we all fell in love with the coaching staff, how competitive they were. They're yelling and screaming at each other. But it's like that helps the morale of your team. But that's got to hinder when Staley's sitting there yelling at Glenn and he's trying to look at his defense like he's just getting yelled at versus being able to really coach him. He's just in like a sidebar with the other side of the ball, which it's great for the level of competition in practice, but I'm not sure if you're really getting all the minute details that your coach should be getting and setting you up for success. It's kind of just like you go be you and you go be successful. And it's like, how about you also take a little minute to put me in a successful situation?
Right.
And I think that's kind of where they're not really gelling up right now.
I will say that since the past 2 years, we had Dan Quinn in Dallas, and that presence in that locker room has to be very motivating. And now they
Yeah.
got players saying he's a father figure to us. They're ready to go hit. And I
Yep.
mean, you got to let the guy run the defense the way that he feels fit. And I mean, you cannot be less than excited for that. I'm not really sure that the Lions offense is that great because they give up so many points. So they're just chasing and chasing. I'm not really sure how that goes. I don't follow every single game in Detroit. But I didn't see anything special whatsoever. I know that the Lions lost their main target, Brown, to concussion early. That might have opened the field for them against the Dallas defense, but I don't see anything on that team that was going to do something against the Cowboys. So
I think that they have an uptick, like a possible. They have answers on their roster right now. Swift has been out. He's their most
right,
explosive available piece outside of Amon-Ra. And then they've still got Williams just waiting. Just waiting. Hasn't played at all. He's going to be a big piece. So I think that they have a lot of stuff. It's just going to kind of all come back to, well, if Goff's under pressure, can he perform?
mm-hmm.
And I don't think that's a question we'll have to ask next year, because I think they'll be down in that bottom of the barrel getting one of these top quarterbacks coming out of college, and we'll see a whole different revamp. And it's whether or not the Dan Campbell show will continue into next
Right.
year. I hope it does. I hope that they get a real shot at it, but it's not looking good right now.
It's really not. So it was 24-6, pretty comfortable win. I would like to highlight Parsons, maybe player of the year. That guy chased down that tight end. He was 17 or 12 yards behind him, saved a touchdown, changed the whole game. That was impressive.
He's a monster. He's the only defensive player that can play every position on the field.
Right, what you and me always say, Parsons plays defense. All the other guys, they play their position.
Every position.
Right.
The defensive line coach, the secondary coach, they're saying, oh, we could put him at cornerback if we needed to.
Right.
I mean, he would have to learn a little bit of the technique and whatnot, but the athlete he is would be successful there at safety, at linebacker,
right.
at outside linebacker. We could rush him at D end. We could put him right in the A gap and let him mess around a little bit in a one-on-one at D tackle. Like, he is the next level of athlete that you would want on your team.
Right. And that's why I always go back to saying that guy plays defense. He doesn't play a position.
Yep.
Even they say that he doesn't even really understand the science of rushing after the quarterback yet. So just imagine once he masters that, it's going to be amazing. But we'll move on to game 4. I think it was Colts at the Titans. I felt comfortable. Me and Fuzzy have a thing against the Colts. We don't care about them. I'm never going to pick them ever. So me, Fuzzy picked Titans. You picked Colts. It was a 19-10 ugly game. I don't really have a lot of notes from that game. It was hideous.
I thought I was still picking awful. Losers. So I went with the Colts, but Matt Ryan's done for the year. Irsay came out and he's had it. He's done with it. He wants no more veteran quarterback reclamation projects.
Right.
Frank Reich might be on his way out the door. Like, there is stuff a brewing in Indianapolis, and I can't wait to see what's going to happen.
Oof. Well, now they're making jokes saying Mac Jones, he going to be going to Indianapolis next year.
Yeah, why? Hey,
oh man,
what do we got? Hey, what's that calendar say? We got
we got some time, man.
5 days left. Ship him out.
Right.
We got Zappe in New England. Let's get what we can for Jones. Let's not have this quarterback controversy.
And you probably can get something for him right now. You know what I mean?
Oh, I mean, what I just said is completely ridiculous. Don't get me wrong. I know it's a joke, but
if it happened, I'd be like, well.
Mac Jones, not much better than Zappe. That's not a real thing. When you watch them play,
right,
the only major difference is that Mac Jones has played a year in the offense. That's it. That's the only difference.
So technically, he should be outperforming. He should be playing better because he has all the reps. He's supposed to be the leader of the team.
We're not lucky. New England's just lucky that Mac Jones has an ankle injury and they can kind of lean on,
right,
well, he wasn't feeling good and this and that. But the reality is the Zap attack looks a lot better.
The Zap attack. See, Yes. Now you're bringing in more nicknames. I love it. I love the nicknames for players. It makes it fun. All right, so we go into game 5. It was Packers at Commanders. I thought Rodgers was going to bounce back. It's been a long time. What was it, like a long time that they lost back-to-back games as favorites, something like that?
This is going to be the first time in 3 years that they went into the losing record category. So,
well, me and Fuzzy both picked Packers. Baker picked the Comms. That's a good pick on you.
Yeah.
I don't know how you pull that out. It was 21-23. The score is very misleading. It did not seem that close.
The first half was scary.
Yeah.
Heineke looked a little wild, like he was just happy to be out of the barn, hucking the ball around. He was throwing it to anybody moving.
I could throw this ball over the mountain.
But one of the things that I loved was good Carl. He's out.
Yeah.
And the Super Bowl odds went up, and I found that hilarious.
Really?
So I had to go with the commies for week 7.
Wow. So you've been digging. I like it. This guy, you should work for the FBI. Beautiful.
I mean, maybe.
That was a good pick on you. That
that's a lot of work.
I'm not gonna lie. That was a very good pick on your end. I think so. What is the next game? Was
good old Buccaneers.
Oh, Buccaneers at Panthers. We all went with the Buccaneers. That was Tom Brady on a 3-game stretch had like 850 plus yards. It's in that ballpark. He was playing pretty well for the past 3 games. They play the worst team in the NFL. They got their ass kicked. That is awful. That is awful. The whole podcast went 0-3 on that one.
So the Buccaneers are back to the Jameis Winston Buccaneers, is what you're telling me?
It's looking like it. It is looking like it.
Who would have thought, hey, we're going to ship out Christian McCaffrey because we decided that's going to make us better at beating the shit out of the Bucs this week.
Right.
Well, I would have never thought it.
Well, shit, man. Now they have the XFL player, Walker, the QB.
Yeah. Oh, so, PJ's not going to give that up. Everyone keeps saying, Darnold's coming. Darnold ain't coming nowhere.
Yeah.
We've seen that. That's not a real thing. Maybe 4 years down the road, he'll make a relapse like Geno and really come and do something. But he hasn't sat behind anybody to learn anything yet. He ain't there.
That's a really good take. Yeah.
And I'm a USC fan, and let me tell you, there's one thing that you do not get out of USC, and that's a quarterback.
Right.
You do not do that.
Or a decent one in the pros, because they're great in college, but I don't know about the NFL.
And that's why we haven't seen it in the pros. I can't name one. I can't name one. Can't figure it out. We'd have to go back 40, 50 years.
They're good analysts, though. So maybe we can get one on the podcast. That'd be great.
Oh, I mean, they went to school in L.A. What do you think they do?
I know, right? Hey, smooth mouse, man. Smooth mouse. I would like to finish that talk, or to finish the topic on that game, though, is that it's pretty promising that a XFL player is kind of looking all right. So maybe when the new one starts, maybe that could be a development league. Maybe that can actually turn into something. You can reel it back.
You know who else is from the XFL?
Who?
Taylor Heineke.
Really?
So, 2 XFL players came in and took down Tom Brady and Aaron Rodgers in the same week. Bap, bap. Like it was nothing.
Do we dare to say that they have better players?
That the XFL is now better than the NFL? I'm not going to say that. But
hey, I'm a betting man.
I like where you're headed.
I'm a betting man. Oh, even a better note on that. The XFL champion should play the worst team in the NFL. Come on now.
I don't know, man.
Come on now. If you lose, you get fucking relegated.
The best XFL team should win that, to be honest. The best against the worst, that should win. But if we went champion against champion, it would be like Mighty Ducks 3, where JV's got to play varsity in the whatever thing, and that's not a real thing.
But would that be a good way to stop teams from fucking tanking? Like, that would be great. Maybe XFL can get their stuff together. Maybe be a partner to the NFL. Maybe get that going to where, hey, man, if you win, I'm just throwing it out there. And if it happens, I want 10%. I want 10%.
Let's just stir it up. Why are we not doing promotion and demotions? Let's just really stir it up here.
Thank you.
What are we doing?
I don't know who the hell's running these leagues. This is ridiculous. All right, on to the game. Game 7 is Giants at Jaguars. We all picked the Giants. They're looking pretty nice. I don't really have much about them. I don't know how the hell they're winning. They won 23-17. Daniel Jones is kind of holding his own. All the receivers are below par. The running backs, like, who the hell? I mean, like, I don't think they have one receiver on that team that has 200 receiving yards, right? It's crazy.
No, they were actually, the meme was going around where their left tackle has more touchdown receptions than their two top paid receivers and whatnot. It's,
Yeah.
the team is playing great as
Right.
far as winning football, but they are not playing great as far as let's look at stats and see how it was
Right.
done. So they got the grit, and I mean that's the first thing you need to turn your team around.
True.
And I mean they have Saquon, so if you have a healthy Saquon, that can solve a lot.
He has been
of
playing pretty good this year.
inefficiencies.
I'm just so
I mean,
I'm very sour when it comes to Saquon because I drafted him.
Yeah, no, I understand.
Put a lot of faith in him, but you know what I mean, that guy could just go.
You have the fantasy sours.
I do.
Yeah.
We'll move on to game 8. It was Browns versus Ravens. So
All of us, Ravens across the board.
we all picked Ravens. It was a little scary for a little bit, but
I mean, for you, I was picking losers. So either way, I was feeling good. Either way, I was right or I got a win. It was a great week for me.
Yep, 20-23, Ravens won that game. Game 9 was Jets at Broncos. We all picked the Jets. I mean, was the game fun to watch? No, it definitely wasn't. It was 16-9. The Jets took the dub. Broncos are boring as hell to watch, so we moved past that. We got Texans versus the Raiders. We all picked the Raiders. Texans defense.
That was a good one. I was watching the Raiders. I was watching that game with a couple people, and I told them, hey, man, I picked the Raiders here. And they looked at me and they said, you really need some picking help then. So I just let that game just keep going until they were up almost double the score. I looked back and I said, how's that help coming?
Right.
No
Do I
answer.
still need that handicap? It was Raiders won 38-20. Pretty comfortable. Carr, I think he only threw one interception this whole season, and it was dropped by Waller. So, I mean, I don't know. Maybe Carr's kind of.
Hey, we got to get a hold of a couple people in this fantasy league of yours because somebody's paying $200 for Carr. I cannot get a hold of this guy. I just need him to drop him. That would be great for me. If we could shout out, hey, let's get him cut off your team.
Come on, boys.
All right, thanks. Let's keep it going.
Help this Last Kings League. So he's paying $200 out of 1,000 cap room. So, I mean, that guy's invested. He loves his Raiders, I guess.
Man.
Moving on, we have game 11, Seahawks at Chargers. I picked the Seahawks. Fuzzy and Baker picked the Chargers. I was kind of hesitant, but I'm on the Geno train. I'm loving it. I felt pretty comfortable. Has it been
a fun ride? Is it smooth?
Yeah, it's all right.
I mean,
I've seen some plays by him this year. Geno.
You look at the Chargers, you think they're going to be the shit.
Right.
And they are just shit. It is awful.
Yes. You thought they're going to be the shit. And I'll tell you, they're shit.
That's
a hot take from Baker, baby.
You got the quarterback with the prettiest ball that explodes off of his hand.
Great release, yeah.
And just can't, the whole team just can't put a win together. They have injury troubles all over the place. I mean, it can't be the field. They play on the same field as the Rams. So is it the staff? Is it the plays they're calling? It's just, is it the curse? I don't know. Is there a curse? Who knows? It's awful. It is just, it's got to be miserable to be a Chargers fan. Gotta be.
And they're always going to be like the little stepbrother in LA.
Yeah. That's forever concreted because the Rams got a Super Bowl there already in the short time that they've been in that stadium. So you look 10 years ahead and you got all the kids growing up that are wearing those Herbert jerseys now. Maybe they'll step up. But I mean, when you're looking at a decade out to change your fandom, you know things aren't looking good.
Right. You're already in a hole. All right, so I got that one. Thank you. That one kind of saved my chances in versus this week. Moving on to game, was it 12? We have Chiefs at the Niners. We all picked the Chiefs. I know the Niners had the number one defense, but the number one player in the NFL is on the Chiefs. They start off slow, but man, did they dominate that game. 44 to 23.
The game started with the Christian McCaffrey experiment. It looked like it went really well. His first carry went for 10 yards. He was slashing and dashing, but going into the second half, you could just see that the Niners had kind of used everything that they had put in the arsenal for McCaffrey, and then they just couldn't really move the ball well, just kind of sputtered out. And it came down to the same old thing that I say about Jimmy Garoppolo, is that he is a great quarterback for managing a game.
Right.
But once you get up against a team that can stop your run and kind of negate the play action pass,
right,
he kind of becomes useless. And the problem that the Niners always have is once you get to the playoffs and you're playing against, winning teams week after week after week, more often than not, you're going to come up against a defense that can stop the run,
right,
does have the ability to slow the play action pass. And then it's, hey, Jimmy, it's on your back. Go out there and win it. And he cannot do that.
right. I look on the other end because I'm a big defense guy. I will say that if you only rely, their team is defense heavy, and they really rely on that defense. And if you're playing against another team that can score the ball against anybody, I'm not sure how the hell the Niners can beat that team. I don't think that they have enough firepower on that offense. I don't even know if it's a play calling situation, but you can only stop so much. But once that team knows how to score against you, there's no way the Niners are going to be able to keep up with you.
Yeah, we'll circle back to that a little bit in the game of the week and kind of break that down a little bit more.
Right.
But I do think you're onto something. As presently constructed, there just really isn't a shot.
I agree, but we've had that about that several times.
Yeah, we thought that in Game 6 with the Buccaneers too. What do we know? Yeah, no, I hear you.
All right, we got Game 13, Steelers at Dolphins. I sent a text message to Fuzzy. I said, "Is this another game y'all lose by 35?"
Oh, what? Just kick a man while he's down.
Okay, that is. But Fuzzy picked the Steelers. We picked the Dolphins. Surprisingly, it was 10-16 Dolphins. I don't know how that worked out. Maybe Tua was rusty. The Steelers defense does not look great like a typical Pittsburgh defense does. I think every team should be dropping 30 on them, but my opinion, I jazz.
So, I mean, it just with the game that it was, it even came down to the end where we're giving Steelers a shot to come back and win it in the last drive, where there was a couple opportunities to burn more time off of the clock that weren't taken.
Mm-hmm.
And honestly, McDaniel's kind of sliding from the beginning of the season, where he's looking like this wonder kid that's going to be coach of the year. And Tua gets hurt and he gets back in the game. Tua gets hurt, gets knocked out of the game. And then he's got a couple backup quarterbacks.
Right.
And now he's down at the bottom of the barrel, and he's just another guy with a head coaching gig. And it's like, we'd really hope you to turn it back around and get these primetime weapons that you got. You got three of the fastest guys in the NFL, and Waddle, Mostert, and Tyreek Hill. Like, get them the ball, get them in space, and let them do their thing. It's like they're trying to get too cute, and it's not working.
And that speed, man, they all so fast. I think they'll start clicking again. I mean, they're 4-3. Either team scored a point in the second half. I mean, that game was just kind of Pickett is just throwing inners and inners and inners and inners. Pickens, 6 catches, 61 yards, and a touchdown. I mean, I think he's going to get his targets. But, I mean, their running game ain't there. It's rough. I don't know if it's the offensive line situation. but it is what it
I
is.
it's
10-16.
combination of the offensive coordinator not really setting everybody up for success.
Right.
Kind of like I feel like they're calling a game with an expectation that either quarterback that they've had in can't really play to the upper level. And I
Right.
almost feel like just give them the opportunity to do that. Give them an opportunity to shine at that upper level. Give them the chance to take those shots. And if they fail, now we know that they can't do it or that they can learn from it. But when you're not even giving them the opportunity to really unleash, how do you know what it is? How do you know what they can do?
Right.
And as long as you can keep the guy from getting killed back there, there's no reason to not let him make mistakes. You got to let him grow.
Growing pains. The guy's slinging it 44 times. I mean, so the opportunities are there. I just not really. I don't know yet. I guess we have to see. I mean, I guess this is kind of like just we're gonna try stuff out, see what our talent has in them. We're gonna call the plays, see what we can do. They're 2-5, so I mean, good luck to them.
Man, you look good right now.
Who, me?
Yeah.
Why? What happened? What'd I do?
Oh, you're just frozen again.
No way. Well, as long as we're good on my end, we're fine because I have it on
Cool.
the display. All right, so the last game, game 14. It was Monday night. Bears
turned off.
You did fucking turn the game. It was Bears at Patriots. We all confidently picked the Patriots. And well, I'll tell you this, man. I'll tell you one thing. We were all wrong. We were all wrong. 33-14. I'm damn near going to say Justin Fields looks like Michael Jordan when there's bad weather. I mean, Mac Jones got benched, you said. They threw 3 interceptions. The Bears, that defense.
It was bad.
I recall somebody saying they don't have that great of a defense, and I recall someone else saying that their defense looks pretty good. So, Monday night, they look good.
I heard jokes, Justin Fields walking in, kicking the coach's door down, telling him he wants to run the ball more. He wants to win games. He wants to be given an opportunity. Did he really kick the door down? No. Did he ask for more opportunity? It sure seems like he did. And it seems like with that longer leash that we were kind of talking about that we'd hope the Steelers would give their quarterbacks.
Right.
We're finally, after a couple years, seeing that with Fields. And it a year plus, we're going to see some big growth out of him now.
Yes,
because what that does is it opens everything up. When you do have to account for that quarterback, it makes it easier for that quarterback. Where one would think, oh, they're spying you or doing this and doing that, it's going to be more difficult. It opens up the passing lanes a little bit more on the outside. It gives more one-on-one coverage to your playmakers.
Mm-hmm.
And he has shown that when he's able to move, dodge, duck, and dive, make that time, he can get the ball downfield and make some big plays. So I like Justin Fields. I mean, I've been ridiculed as a Vikings fan because I said, you give me that contract and Justin Fields, I'll take it over Kirk Cousins right now. And nobody in the free world agrees with me on that, but you're all wrong. So, we can go there. But the Patriots look like they're in hell right now. Having 2 quarterbacks that they can't choose between is just going to split the locker room. It's going to leave question after question after question on if Belichick knows what he's doing anymore.
Right.
And it's just all going to be BS on top of BS until they start slapping some wins together again.
Well, and it's starting to draw that topic back again. Was it Brady or was it Belichick? I will say on the Justin Fields point is that last year I was trying to trade up in our dynasty to get Justin Fields.
Yeah.
He would have been the quarterback I would have got. So I'm not saying he's great yet. QB rating is 24.6 right now. Last year was 23.2.
It's a long-term decision.
So, I mean, he has 1,000 passing yards, 5 TDs, 6 interceptions. I'm not sure about his rushing, but last week he he held his own, man. 82 rushing yards, 179 passing yards, 1 touchdown, 1 interception, 13 for 21. I'm a fan. I'm a fan. I love it. I'm gonna roll with
No,
that one.
he definitely looks like a man among boys when he is unleashed. When he's allowed to go do what he wants to do,
Right.
it looks like he cannot be stopped. Now, we do understand that that comes with the running dynamic. That's what
Right.
makes it so
Of
great.
course.
And he has a lot to be desired developing the passing game. It looks like it's not his talent at throwing the ball that's in question. He just has to get used to throwing people open. And when he's at Ohio State, there's so many times where his guy's just wide open.
Right.
So you just throw it out there, it's no big deal. And now he's having to anticipate and throw into more window style throws. And there's a couple times where you can see there's like an out and a slant to the right. It's a 3-step drop. He hits the back foot, pauses, and then has to go do something else. Ends up not converting the down. It's 4th down. And Eli pointed out on the Eli and Peyton streamcast, and it was hilarious because they were just sitting there with comedian Bill Burr, and they were just giving him junk about all the big time losses that all the Patriots have had over the years. And it was a good time, but they were able to kind of point out where Fields is comfortable and where he isn't quite there yet.
Mm-hmm.
And I just think that's a little bit of time. You have to see those plays, you have to get the timing down, and you have to be successful on a couple of those anticipation throws.
Right.
And that builds the
That
confidence
builds the
even more.
confidence. Yep.
And then we're off and running. And I think that we've seen the biggest jump in his career and confidence so far.
He definitely has the dog in him, and you want that in your QB. You don't want this guy just trying to follow the system. You want him to have that confidence like you're getting at. And I see a bright future for him. All right, so that was the verses. Me and Baker got 10. Fuzzy was at 9 correct. So we were 10-4. 10-4, and he was 9-5. This is a good week for the podcast. I will say the Saints was a bit of a reach, so I understand that. The Packers, Bucks, and Patriots were a shocker. That could have been some big money right there this week, or this past week.
Yeah.
All right, moving on.
Had a couple of those favorites not let me down. What was it? 13 out of 14 should have been an easy mark.
Man, that would have been some big money, and that's really hard. So that's fine. Would you like to move on to the next segment of injuries, Baker?
Yeah, we could break down some injuries. We're just going to run down, I don't know, 10 or 12 of the biggest injuries that we've seen, kind of the most affecting to a team, and then kind of the ones that are, affecting a lot of your guys' fantasy teams as well.
All right.
The biggest star that I felt had the injury was Breece Hall. Went down with the season-ending ACL tear, slight meniscus tear, done for the year. He looked amazing. He's one of the players that the Jets hit on this year that really kind of brought them out of the basement and made them kind of that team again. And with him and Sauce Gardner, one on each side of the field really taking over, they have kind of transformed what I feel like the players think in the locker room about themselves. They're now a team that can go get it. Like Salah said, we're taking receipts, right?
Right.
So
he started breaking out into that showcase, like I was saying 2 weeks ago. Top 10 rushing, but he only has 75 rushing attempts, 80. So that's almost half of what the other top guys are doing, and this guy is balling, and it's very sad. Man, he would have been like the unicorn. Like, yes, I picked the right running back who just took off. And of course, it's the goddamn ACL. There's not a lot of players come back in that position and produce the same as they did beforehand, but it's possible. Obviously, we hope for the best.
I mean, he's young enough that if somebody says next year, we expect a little bit of a downtrend because he's got to come back. It takes a season for them to really get back to form. I really do feel like he'll get back to where he was, because he was never, a left and right agility player. He is a one cut, explode,
Yeah.
read, swivel his hip a little bit, miss some contact and gone. But them changing the locker room morale was big. They went out and got James Robinson from Jacksonville to replace him instantly for a 7th round pick. And I just think that shows how valuable Brees was to change the
Right.
locker room, to make them feel like they are a team that can win now, that the whole organization is on that and they're trying to win now. So, I mean, that's the biggest loss for me of the season.
Agreed.
DK Metcalf went down. He suffered a patellar tendon injury, but they won't really confirm kind of how severe it is or how long they'll be out. Somebody that I know calls him good old Petey Sunshine.
Hmm.
He always glosses over everything with a positive outlook, so you never really know how bad
Right.
something is.
Right.
And I don't see him being available in week 8. He very well might be, but it seems like they got 3 games and then their bye week in week 11. I would understand not seeing DK Metcalf until week 12.
A couple
I
weeks
think
out.
going in with that expectation is probably the best. If you get him back earlier, hey, that's good too. But let's plan for letting him really get healthy. Um, Mike Williams for the Chargers, high ankle sprain. The only thing head coach Staley said is it's going to be weeks, not days.
Oh boy.
So seeing how they've been with Keenan Allen, we're through what? We're going to go through 8 weeks before we see him. I would assume we go through a very cautious handling of Mike Williams as well.
Rightfully so, because he used to be very injury prone, and then he had a nice little good stretch. He stepped up.
So the reason Mike Williams gets injured a lot is because he's reckless with his body in a positive way of going and getting the ball, but
Right.
he understands how to take off, but that's a lot of body to land. And a
Right.
lot of the time he's landing on his hip, his back, his shoulder. It's very similar to Calvin Johnson when he went up. It's just such a big body that's getting to the top of the gym that
Right.
when it lands, it's hard for your body to take that kind of pain. But he went down on a 4th down play. He got caught up short of the 1st down, turnover on downs, and Mike gone for the foreseeable future. So that's not great. Amon-Ra St. Brown left the game with a concussion, and then he passed the protocol but was not allowed back in the game due to the new, what we would call the Tua protocol, I guess,
The
that
Tua
got
scare.
implemented.
I like that.
So after that, the NFL's knee-jerk reaction is to give the third-party doctors a little bit more power and say, hey, we've seen X or we've seen Y, and that player can't go in. But Dan Campbell came out and said he didn't have a concussion, didn't suffer a concussion. He's only out due to the Tua scare protocol. So, Amon-Ra St. Brown, hoping everything's fine. He's in next week. He's feeling good. Glad that he didn't get scrambled on that.
Yes.
Ryan Tannehill missed 1 play. Got an ankle injury, left, came back in, but we seen him with the boot after the game. So
Ooh.
just keep an eye out. You might get to see Malik Willis this week. That would be a little fun change of pace. You're going to not necessarily see someone that is Justin Fields, but that is definitely the type of player
Yep. Dual
that
threat.
Malik Willis is. Chuba Hubbard came in. He was actually given the start per first play of the game situation for the Panthers, and suffered a mild ankle sprain. They're saying, hey, he might play in week 8, he might not. So they're really not thinking it's severe. Just keep an eye out on that. Similar to a timetable for Alan Lazard, he left the game with a shoulder injury.
Mm-hmm.
And questionable to come back in, but did not. And they really won't discuss the severity of that either. So that could be, we'll see him out there with the shoulder waving, give me the ball, or we'll see him in a nice little sideline jacket.
Or I'm open.
Pointing at a good play. Exactly. One of the odd ones to me is not the injury, but just how the team has it. Is that Njoku suffered a high ankle sprain in the third quarter, so he's out. They're saying 2 to 5 weeks. There is only one other active tight end on that roster right now.
Oh boy.
So we're gonna have to see some sort of movement, some sort of free agent acquisition, or we're gonna start seeing Cleveland Light out there. 4 spread, 2 running backs, Kareem Hunt getting motioned out to the side. Like, I
Cream
don't
Hunt
know,
in the
but
slot, baby.
yeah, but if we don't get another tight end in there, Cleveland is not going to look the same this week as they have in previous weeks. One of the better newses that we really got though was the non-skilled player. We go to the trenches.
Mm-hmm.
You go out to New York for the Giants. You look at Evan Neal, their stud left tackle. He came in. He's really made a big difference. He went down, and everyone feared the worst.
The worst, yeah.
Big man down, season ending, it's over. But testing shows it's just an MCL sprain, which isn't necessarily just, but in
Right.
comparison,
To what I look like.
Yeah, they are extremely happy, and weeks instead of months is a lot better. So it's going to be good to see kind of how that goes. We touched on the Giants having a way better score than the statistics that they're putting out.
Right.
But I would say that he's one of those grit reasons that they're able to kind of smash yards out, have Barkley do his thing. Then we got 2 more concussions. They're entering concussion protocol. So we'll see if they get out for the next week. And that's Rashawn Gray, the linebacker for Green Bay,
Mm-hmm.
and Antonio Winfield, the safety for Tampa Bay. I would say that Gray has an opportunity to pass his protocol and get back in this week because he has, the entire week. Where Winfield, I don't see him getting cleared by the Thursday deadline. They're playing Thursday. I almost don't see any player that suffered a concussion and leaves the game in concussion protocol to clear by Thursday for the rest of the year.
Yeah, I don't think
After
that's
the
going to be a
Tua
thing
situation.
no more. Yep.
I don't think
short
that's going to
weeks
be
is
allowed.
going to be a no-no.
And I think that the first time it happens, we'll see another kind of rule put by the NFL that, oh, that's too fast of a turnaround. We can't do that. And that's not even saying that the player that does it gets injured. That's just saying a team makes the designation and starts them 4 days later. And then the wild one to watch, but kind of going back to the LA Chargers always having injuries, is CJ Jackson ruptured his patellar tendon. But the play, it was almost like a non-contact rupture. He's going up and he's a couple yards shy of the receiver in the end zone, and he goes to jump. And as he jumps, you just see in the air, he kind of loses all motion to going up, grabs his knee midair, and just lands like a sack of potato on the ground.
Oh.
And they could put the air cast on him and take him off. He's done for the year. But they're just really unlucky when it comes to injuries. You don't know what to pin it on. It's very hard to see that many injuries and not blame the staff in some way, that they don't have the players stretched enough, or
Right.
what the situation is. But they definitely have to do some looking in the mirror to understand why their players are always like, are we pushing them too much?
On practice or yeah.
Are we asking them to play so close to the edge that any minor movement is torquing and breaking things? Because that's where everyone sees that Julio Jones is at now with his feet problems. Is he's such a freak, and he's always put himself at that level of, I'm doing what other people can't do. Well, your body can't handle that torque and stuff like that. And it kind of seems like that's what the LA Chargers are going through, is they just kind of put more strain on their players than other teams require. But that's dialing it in with the injury segment. We're good there. It's happy to see that why we have a couple concussions, none of them were as extreme as the ones we've seen earlier in the season, and that with that, we have seen a little bit less, at least this week, of the roughing the passer calls and whatnot. So hopefully the Tua scare is going to level off and we'll get back to normal NFL within a week or two.
It's a copycat league, but I don't know. All right, so that sums that up. Appreciate that, Baker. Now we are going to go into the game of the week review. Following that, we will do a preview to Thursday night. So we decided the game of the week was Chiefs versus Niners.
Now, the score doesn't show that.
Right. But there's a reason why,
It was
right?
a good game.
What's the storyline?
Yeah. So, I mean, the reason that we kind of felt like it was the game of the week is because we learned a lot.
Right.
We saw the beginning of the game. The game looked close. Niners put McCaffrey in right away.
That was exciting.
His first carry was for 10 yards. He's slashing, he's dashing, he's making things happen.
This is why they traded for they're all about it, man. It was hyped up.
I'm in the Bay Area, okay? So I'm in a house full of Niner fans. And because I picked the Chiefs for our verses, I'm the only one cheering for the Chiefs. Okay.
Oh man.
So everybody hates me in the room. It's fine, whatever. And you know, they're all looking good, but we're watching Red Zone. So it's cutting from game to game. And then the third quarter starts and they're getting restless because the game's still close. I go, hey, can't we just watch the Niners game?
Right.
So, sure. Like that, like this is important to me too. Let's go ahead, let's turn that on. You turn the Niners game on, and then my phone buzzes. Mahomes with the big play. And I go, oh, you guys aren't going to like this. Boom, 50 yards down the field. Buzzes again. Oh, we got a score. Oh, you're not going to like that. Niners get the ball, punt it back up. Another big play. It's like, okay. So now I don't remember. It was 30-something to 23. And it had only been 15 minutes of real-time action. Niners fans going, hey, we could put Red Zone back on. We're done.
It's okay. We don't want to watch it. They dropped 30 points in the second half. Definitely, they saw something on that defense, and they took off.
But the real storylines that kind of came out of the game were Christian McCaffrey got in. He had a package that worked, and it worked well. So in the future, when he kind of gets a chance to acclimate to the rest of the roster, they're going to be able to spread him to different, more in the slot, kind of put him in motion, use him as almost a Debo clone where you have a guy on each side of the field that may do something as far as motion or flip the defense. I think that's going to be really good for the Niners. But once they ran out of that package and they were having to reuse a Christian McCaffrey play, or they were having to go back to just a standard play they had before CMC, they looked awful. They couldn't move the ball. It was like a view into the glass of this is why everyone was happy we traded for Trey Lance. Jimmy G cannot compete at a certain level against a team that's shut down our play action pass. And sitting in this room of Niner fans, listening to them talk about the Christian McCaffrey trade and then going back in the Trey Lance trade, I'll tell you guys, it is not sounding good from their fan base. All of a sudden, hey, going into the year, no games are played. We've got Trey Lance as the starter. Every Niners fan loved it. Now, that's the stupidest trade we ever did, trading all those picks to go up and get Trey Lance. He's never proven anything, this, that, and the other. Now we're just wasting more picks getting Christian McCaffrey, even though he's the running back that clearly skill set wise fits the best in this offense.
Right.
But sure, yeah. We're just mad to be mad at this point. But then it went two steps further, and I didn't really think we were going to get there. And it's, hey, Kyle Shanahan and John Lynch, 42 and 46 as a pair for the Niners. They're under 500. They've made a move to go get Jimmy Garoppolo. That didn't work.
Right.
That's why we made a move to go get Trey Lance. That hasn't worked. Now we're making a move to go get Christian McCaffrey. That looks good to me. But the Niners fans are just saying, we're over it. We're sick of you trading our future away. We're not showing any results. And basically, short of a Super Bowl appearance this year, it is going to be hard for Kyle Shanahan and John Lynch to look like a good pair for the Niners moving forward. The fan base is not impressed. They do not like it. And as soon as they started realizing that they were under 500 with the pair at the helm, they kind of had a meltdown and lost it. So
I will say that
we'll see how that goes.
They call them the faithfuls, but man, that fan base, like they are always so upset with the team that they have. And then
the worst.
This is just going to be a wash year. And then they go to the NFC Championship. Oh, we're going to lose the game. They're never like. Of course, there's some, but we grew up in the Bay Area, so we can speak very loudly about this. And I'm over here saying, like, man, you guys have one of the best rosters. Oh no, we suck, bro. We're washed. This and that. Okay. I guess I don't want to be a fan either. Then and then they go into the NFC Championship. They have no hope, no faith behind them, and they call themselves the faithfuls. And like that's not a thing. If they can tweak a few things out there in Santa Clara, I ain't gonna call them the San Francisco Niners. They could be really good. Look at that defense is amazing. Like only certain things they just have to tweak. It'd be great. That team would be very scary.
I decided to troll a couple of those fans yesterday. I'm going to be honest with you. And I sent them a little thing that says, now that Matt Ryan's been benched for the Colts, is he going to get traded to the Niners as a backup piece for Jimmy? They lost it, which was, I knew it was going to happen, but I loved it. And I just, they are the worst tailgaters in the NFL. And I said, why don't you just go drink your wine and eat your blocks of cheese?
Right. Go get your little crackers and relax.
And just see what's going to happen. Let's just calm down. So, it was a good ride. It was a great game. It was great to see the Chiefs come to life in the fourth quarter and just really just pile points on. And it made me a little giddy inside. I'm not going to lie to you. But I think all the questions and stuff came up. By the end of this year, Kyle may be on the hot seat. We might not see him next year if they really take a downturn.
You mean that's hard to say for me because it's really hard when even on your down years you make it to the NFC Championship. It's crazy. I don't know how the hell
we're not gonna see that this year.
Well, of course not. But I don't know. 2 out of 4 years they got there right or something like that. What was it? 2 out of 4 years.
If he finishes this year, what are they right now? He is, what I tell you, 42 and 46.
Right.
If he finishes the year under 500, they're not going to the NFC title.
Yeah, but 2 out of 4 years.
And if he finishes,
sorry, someone keeps pounding on my door. My bad. 1 second. That was weird. We're good. Somebody knocked on my door and thought there was like a kid walking around there, like knocking on everyone's door, asking if it was my kid. No, it's not. My kids aren't in school.
I know I have a lot of kids. But I watch mine. Thank you.
The public school system watches mine. Sorry to cut that off.
No, so if he's 42 and 46, I just feel like, hey, once the eyes have been opened, it's really hard to close them again. Yeah. So once the whole fan base has had it, and it sounds like right now they're at that point, you kind of got to go above and beyond for them to kind of settle back down.
Right.
And if he's not even over 500 by the end of the year, that means they're in a losing record that, it's just not going to be good in the public's eye. And that's kind of what does make those decisions happen.
I definitely agree with that. And they have had the unfortunate injury bugs. And I feel like everyone just gets hurt on that team. But I still think they have a great team. So,
I do too, and I think that's why a coach change would be the first answer. Is, hey, we're not reaching what we think we should with the roster we have. So what makes the roster better? The coaching. What why is our future kind of in doubt pick wise? Oh, because John Lynch and Kyle keep trading everything away to go get a quarterback that doesn't play or doesn't fit in the offense or this, that, and the other. And it's like, what they don't see though is Christian McCaffrey, I don't think was overpaid for. They have extra picks from their coaches going and getting jobs everywhere else. They have
Right.
another pick supposedly coming in because Jimmy Garoppolo is going to fall off the team at the end of the year. They have a good roster. You can only fit so many rookies on your roster. You don't
Right.
necessarily need 15 rookie picks over a 2 or 3 year span.
Right.
But when you just show each trade individually, it just looks like a lot of value going out the door for unsuccessful pieces coming back in.
I feel like they run their team like I run my dynasty. I make the trades, the big bang blockbuster trades, and I give up too much just to get by, and sooner or later that catches up. So
yep,
that's how I look at it.
You heard my tone when I heard you say that. Oh, well, yeah.
But I will say 1 year, okay, I gave up my left kidney and it got me a title. So it's okay. Hey, I'm still young, so we're good.
Fine. No, yeah.
We're still young.
Squirrels find an acorn too. No, I hear you. Every once in a while.
All right. So that was the game of the week for us. As you can tell, me and Baker are from the Bay Area, so we hear the chirps, you know, we understand them. We're not biased. We see it from outside the box, and we're just looking in and giving our 2 cents. And I say that because, you know,
the fan base is not happy.
Yeah, they're very.
I tried to walk them off a cliff for 2 days straight, and you know what?
They're light skinned, man.
Didn't
work. On the other end, on the other side of the Bay, you know, the team's not as good, but the fan base is like, we're winning the Super Bowl. It's wild. It's wild. It's black and white. It's completely different. And the other team that has the scary fan base typically does a little bit better. And then the team that has the strong fan base, their team's not as good. But that's the culture.
I think that's just expectation. And then, I mean, we know who we're talking about.
For you guys on Spotify, we're winking.
Who now moved the state away and they go and they get to gamble and have a good nightlife over there in Vegas. I really look forward to when they're as good as you guys think they are. That's going to be a fun ride.
Man, I'm probably going to be a grandpa.
The only fan base that I've been around that's worse than listening to the Cowboys tell me they're going to win a Super Bowl every year is the Raiders, and it's 5, 7, 10 times worse.
Yeah.
You can bring facts to it, and they say, I don't care, we're great. I say, you know what? That is blind fandom, and I love it. And I just don't want to hear about it.
Today's not the day, man. It's a Monday. No, it's not. It's Thursday. No, but it feels like a Monday. Listen to you. All right, so we'll move on. We're going to do a preview to Week 8, first game of the week. It's a Thursday night primetime game. Maybe this game will be kind of cool. You know, we have some good teams or good names on teams. It's the Ravens versus the Bucks. Baltimore is 1.5 favorites. Money line is Baltimore favorite 118, Bucks 100. The over is 45.5. So, well, the spread is 45.5. I think my pick is definitely going to go with Lamar Jackson with the Ravens. I don't know what's going on with Brady. I mean, I want Brady to do well. I'm a big Brady fan. I always seem to pick him. I always say the safest bet in sports is Mayweather and Brady, but not in football when it comes to week. If Brady's in the Super Bowl, I'm probably going to bet on him. But this week, I'm not betting on him, and I'm going to go with the Ravens. We do not have Fuzzy's pick in yet, but we will cover his pick on Saturday. Baker, what's your outlook?
I mean, we're all going to go Ravens. I'm almost positive of it. We haven't heard from Fuzzy. I would assume he go Ravens, but I hope he goes Buccaneers. Thought is all of us are going to go Ravens now, watching last week's Buccaneers game against Carolina, and then they're going to come out and have a reset, do a fourth quarter Brady comeback against the Ravens, who let, the most fourth quarter games turn over and they lose. so far this season, but I'm still going to go Ravens. Lamar Jackson is that dude.
Indeed.
Um, he is he takes more flack than any stud quarterback I've ever seen. He throws the ball deep with precision accuracy.
Mm-hmm.
He runs 3 circles around a defensive lineman before he takes off for a first down. It is the funnest football to watch outside of Josh Allen and the Buffalo Bills. And with the way we've seen the teams over the last, 3 or 4 weeks, and now thinking that it's going to be a short week, there's not going to be a lot of preparing. It's just going to be allowing your studs to go be studs. And the fact that Antonio Winfield's not going to be able to spy
Right.
Lamar from the secondary,
Mm-hmm.
I just think that's going to be too much to overcome. The big question for me though is, do we get to see the old man back on the field? Do we get to see Deshaun Jackson flying down the sideline? Is that going to make a big deal? Because I'll tell you what, I don't think he's lost a step.
Mm.
That guy is what, 165, 170 pounds soaking wet.
Yep.
People like that don't slow down. The
Right.
little
That's a good
frame
point.
guys, they stay quick forever.
Right.
Okay. He's got one of the best deep ball ability to track the ball in the air, go get the
Yep.
ball, put himself in a great situation where he doesn't get injured jumping up and trying to go get the ball. He was an electric player the last few times we've seen him out there when given opportunity. And I don't think that he's going to come out here and roll for 100 yards and 3 touchdowns and be the
Right.
player of the game. But the fact that Tampa Bay is going to have to respect someone running down the field
Right.
is going to change the way they can play defense and kind of open up bigger lanes for Lamar to run, for Gus Edwards. Looked great last week for him to get moving. Allow Mark Andrews to not have to be the deep threat, which is wild that the
Right.
tight end has been the deep threat there. And it might even kind of allow a couple of the other receivers who have been asked to do things like go deep, like Rashad Bateman, to kind of use his wider frame a little bit
Mm-hmm.
more on shorter routes and maybe get the ball and break a tackle here or there and really start moving the chains more often. So if they can do those things with Deshaun coming in, I think that they're looking great. And I wouldn't say an easy win, but
You feel
it's where
comfortable
I'd be
picking them.
betting my money. Yeah, I feel darn comfortable about that.
I will add that the Ravens' straight up record against the spread is 2-4-1. And the Buccaneers are against the spread 2-5. So, I mean, on paper, it could be in the air, but I think from what we have been seeing in the past couple of weeks, Ravens feel like a comfortable pick. So, after that, we will go into our last segment of the day, and we are going to go through our the power rankings, and maybe there's something shocking. We'll see. We got the Buffalo Bills number 1. They were number 1 last week, 5-1. Can't argue that. Eagles are number 2. They were number 2 last week. They're on a bye week. It is what it is. Chiefs are ranked number 3. They were 3 last week. Makes sense. Cowboys are now ranked number 4, and they move up 2 from 6 last week. I'm not really sure about that. We play the Lions. I mean, I wouldn't mind being 6 and not move up this week. I don't have much to say about that. Bengals are ranked number 5. They were 5 last week. The Giants have moved up from 7th into 6th. I'm still in doubt with that team, but hey, man, you can't disrespect the record. They're 6-1. The Vikings are number 7. They went down 3 from last week.
Well, I don't understand that.
Don't really understand that either.
How's the number 1 team not go down by not playing?
The top
we
2.
go down a
Bills
bunch of
didn't move,
spots?
Eagles didn't move, and then you guys moved 3.
So we're just making clickbait is what they're doing now. Hey, we got to move some stuff.
And you're 5-1. I don't understand. They should at least be this. I would put them over Giants, definitely the Bengals.
The Giants, the whole thing baffles me. Power rankings is not win-loss standings.
Right.
And by the stats that we've seen, What's making these power rankings? What are we
Yeah.
talking about?
I
That's not a
mean,
real thing.
and then who are they really beating? I don't know. So we'll just do top 10, though, because, that's all that really matters. The Ravens are number 8. They did not move up or move down from last week. We got the Titans moved up 5 spots from 14. They are ranked 9 in the league at 4-2. And then we
Beating the
have,
Colts.
beating the Colts.
Said
Yeah.
for beating the Colts, who now benched their quarterback for the remainder of the year.
And they only won 19-10.
I just
I don't understand that.
yeah.
I'm trying to think about why, but I don't have an answer for that. The Jets are now in the top 10. They move up 3 spots from 13. I see that they're 5-2. I think that's going to change quickly after losing their star-studded running back.
I don't know.
I'm
not
one.
saying James Robinson is Breece Hall. He doesn't have that explosion.
Right.
But he is a very good running back. And I think the fact that they're already splitting time between Carter and it was Hall, and now it's going to be Carter and Robinson, I think that you might miss a couple of those 80 yards or 50-yard breakout touchdowns.
Right.
But there's no reason they shouldn't be able to just march that down over a few more plays and still get in the end zone. So, I mean,
yeah, but
how the Giants are up at, what did you say, 6?
They went all the way up to 6, yep. Not all.
And the Jets are at 10. To me, just looking at the watching the game, I could see those just swapped, and I'd have. I wouldn't even mind that either. Comments about it.
Which is still kind of shocking. We'll just do top 15 actually. Which is still kind of shocking. We have the Rams at 11. They moved up a spot. Yeah, I don't know why. The Niners are ranked 12. They were ranked 11 last week. The Raiders moved up 3. They're ranked 13th in power rankings, and they're 2-4. The Dolphins went up 9 spots. They're in 14 from 23. They're 4-3. And then to finish the top 15, we have the Seattle Seahawks at 15. They move up 5 spots from number 20. They are 4-3. I think that Penny getting hurt really helped that team.
The Seahawks are the most respectable. Yeah, I do. But I think the Seahawks are the most respectable, moving up. How they're getting moved up, they're playing better than anybody thought. Out of all the movement we've seen this week, to me, that makes the most sense.
And I don't really mind
what they're doing.
I don't really mind picking them against a lot of teams. So
we seen that last week.
Yes, we did.
I'm not sure I'm still with you. I have a lot of things to contemplate because Geno Smith was once a Jet, and we've seen all of that happen. I still remember that. It is really hard to forget that when you're making picks. So the Geno that we've seen in a Jets uniform is not the Geno we see now.
Right.
And I need to get onto today's page because, I mean, when you see him play, he really does look like a top 10 quarterback. And I would have never thought that was going to be the case, but it is, and more power to him for it. He's put in a lot of work, and we're in the Prove It Bowl this week between Seattle and the Giants. Both of them have overperformed in the win-loss category. So we're going to see kind of who's the truth here.
Yeah, I mean, that should be a good one. We would like to end it on those power rankings, though. We appreciate you guys for dialing in. For the ones who are listening on Spotify, you can find us on YouTube. It's Dial In with Fuzzy and Kap. We have a Twitter, which is official Dial In. And Baker, are you on Twitter?
Just at Baker Mahomes.
At Baker Mahomes. There's a long story behind that, but we'll cut that short. But find us there. We are now moving in to twice a week. Last week was supposed to be our first week. Some things happened. That's okay. Fuzzy had to take a sick day. We hope that he feels better. Until then, boys, stay dialed in. We appreciate you guys stopping by. Let's see how this week 8 unveils.
Looking forward to see you guys Saturday. Hoping to have Fuzzy back by then. We'll get you the rest of our versus picks and have some more fun.
Let's go, boys.